Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Nerd Up. This week I've got Dalton Anthony.
Yo.
Asa Gray.
Hi.
And Lindsay Wolfgang.
Hello.
And I'm your host, Jesse Kimball. What was Dalton chuckling about over there?
It was the second the moment of silence ended. I just heard from her Pokemon cards. Like, it wasn't super funny, but it was just like, oh, good timing, Lindsay. That was awesome. Because she stopped. Like, she froze.
And then as soon as I started
ladies and gentlemen, that's whenever I heard it.
Look, I have 11 binders of cards I'm trying to organize, and this is the smallest one.
No, I'm not being mean. I just thought it was funny. Like, I'm not like, no, you do you. I'm just, the
He's
timing.
He's also praising your timing.
Yeah, like, that was a compliment, actually. I don't give those out.
As I was doing, I realized, oh, wait, we're doing moment of silence. I should stop.
Yeah, it was a perfect freeze. Like, she was midway putting the card in and stopped. Like, it was good.
No, that was impressive. I didn't even notice she was doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so on to nerdy stuff. So Star Trek 4, a movie I didn't know there was a third of, has reportedly been canceled. I know the only news that I could really find on it was that the director has left to go to Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones prequel.
Because
obviously
Thanks,
the final season of Game of Thrones is already done. Mm-hmm. As in recorded and everything. It just needs to get released.
Aired.
I mean, to be fair, there was already a Star Trek 4, and it had whales.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a new Star Trek 4. But yeah, no, I didn't know there was, because this is all from the new movie. And this is one of those things, like, I didn't realize that...
I didn't realize there was a third one either.
Because I still haven't seen Into Darkness, which
Me
I'm pretty
either.
sure is the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the first one.
I watched the first one in theaters, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I don't know why I never watched any more of it. You know what's the best Star Trek show ever is? The Orville.
That's a bold statement.
Huh.
I've heard really good things about it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, like that's what I always hear.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'm going to get called out by a lot of people on that, especially among the nerd community. I'm sorry,
I'll
guys.
just say it. I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan.
Same.
No.
So much.
If you are so mad at Jesse right now, comment on our Facebook page about how wrong Jesse is, because I don't know any of this, and I want to make fun of Jesse. So fans, help me. Like, I just want to be mean to Jesse. So comment on our Facebook page on this episode about how wrong he is.
I'm sorry. I will accept that I am wrong, but I'm with Lindsay. I was always more of a Star Wars fan than Star Trek.
Don't get me wrong. My mom loves Star Trek. That's the only reason I've seen the old movies, and I remember her watching Next Generation when I was at Munchkin, and I eventually got into it, but...
Exactly
yeah.
the same situation with my dad. Like, I would watch it when he was watching it because he absolutely loved Star Trek, but I never got near as into it as I did Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Boy, did I get into Star Wars.
I just learned the other day that my best friend growing up, I never made watch Star Wars. She has gone 36 years without watching a single Star Wars film. I don't know how that happened with her being my friend.
Yeah, but that means you were being a bad friend for 36 years.
Right.
You better start sending her
To be
Blu-rays.
fair, we stopped talking after high school for like 10 years. So.
Oh, fair.
Man.
But still.
Yeah, no, that's shocking.
I know.
I think there's a lot of speculation as to why this happened. Also, apparently, like late last year, there was news that it was already in trouble because like the two leads refused to take pay cuts.
Yeah.
Was that
Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth?
Thank you.
And then there were like a bunch of like they didn't have a script set. There were like 3 scripts being floated out there. One of them was by Tarantino, which that one could still happen potentially.
Honestly, I would absolutely watch a Tarantino
Star Trek
movie starring Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth. Sounds amazing.
I would watch a Tarantino sci-fi epic. I wouldn't, but I don't have any any affinity to the Star Trek brand at all because no one in my life particularly cared about it.
Yeah,
like it was just never part of like my circle of friends. So it doesn't need to have I would just watch a Tarantino, assuming it wasn't 4 hours long.
Right. Which yeah.
And then like the new TV show started, and apparently it's been really good. So.
The second season just started, apparently.
Well, I just mean like they started like there wasn't a TV show on the air whenever the first movie came out.
Right.
So now that they have this, they the fans like it, so why sink a bunch of money into a movie that may not pay off?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense.
This means they don't have faith in their product.
And honestly, like I said, the Orville is so good.
Well, and from what I remember, when at least when that first movie came out, a lot of Star Trek fans didn't really like it because it was J.J. Abrams, and he pretty much
he Star Wars'd it.
Yeah,
he made
he turned
it super
into
actiony and everything.
he made a Star Wars movie.
Lens flare.
And I really, really enjoyed it, and that was because it was a lot more actiony. It was a lot more focused on that than it was the peaceful exploration and stuff like that.
Which was probably the faster pace, because I always remember the old ones just kind of being a little boring.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. Because you would get moments of fun and then moments of excitement, but then a whole lot of
And then you'd get the long
dialogue.
scientific babble that I'm like, ooh, there's a coloring book over here.
Yeah, which you'd think I would like that stuff. Like anybody that knows me would be like, yeah, Jesse's all into that. I just wasn't. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you.
I think it could be that your dad liked it so much.
Just some
I'm not trying to be like a jerk to you right now. I just feel like that could be a thing.
No, I mean you're right. It could be.
That's the reason. I always like Jeff Gordon
because he had those Ninja Turtles and wouldn't let you play with them.
That'd do it. Yeah, that'd do it. Bought him.
Screw this entire franchise.
My dad comes home with 5 in-package Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys, and me at age 7, Jake at age 6, and none of them were for us. Oh, we were livid. How you gonna, as a full-grown man, bring a whole set of brand new action figures and nothing for your kids? That's not right.
Could have at least got you each your favorite or something along with it.
Right, grabbed an extra Leo and Raph or something. But anyway, that's beside the point. We spent a lot more time on Star Trek than I thought we would.
It's the first time they got this much airtime.
Punisher Season 2 got an official trailer.
Doesn't it come out this week?
Yes, it does. It comes out on the 18th. Because we had gotten the release date with a little teaser last week, and then or the week before last, I guess technically. And then inside of this last week, we got the actual trailer. Then we got to see our first look at Jigsaw.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy that this is a week Justin's not sitting in the background because he'd get mad. But
did he not like it?
No, he loved it.
Oh, okay.
The trailer itself was amazing.
Yes.
But he and I and Shannon wildly disagree on the way Jigsaw looks, because Jigsaw as a character has a wildly mangled, disfigured face. Depending on what story you're going into, often or more often than not, it's at the hands of Frank Castle, who did it to him. So, and at the end of season 1, events transpire that make it look like, oh, his face is all just going to be super screwed up. And what we finally see in the well-lit final version is just a super handsome dude with a few cheek scars.
Yeah.
It's got some forehead ones too.
Yeah, but
still, it looks like he just went through a windshield, nothing else.
Yeah, it doesn't look extreme. It doesn't. Again, this makes him more attractive because now he's got the pity factor. He is not a disfigured monster, which is what Jigsaw is.
Right.
So the mask is super cool. I dig that, but it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can still give him the super cool mask, and then when he removes it, he's Ryan Reynolds under the Deadpool mask.
Honestly, it would have made more sense for them to do the mask and his face be horribly disfigured
and be a huge reveal.
Exactly.
Instead of just handsome guy.
Oh, so you just want to wear a mask.
I know exactly who you are. You look the exact same, just now you've got you turned
got some light
you
scarring.
turned your Skyrim scar slider up to 8. Now what I'm hoping in a crazy twist at the end is that he has a buttload of makeup and concealer. So
and
he's got the mask,
something
and
happens.
at some point, it's melted off, or there's rain, or something happens, and we actually see what he actually looks like.
Yes, I would rather it be along those lines too. That he's just so vain to the point that he's tried covering it up even more.
Right, but that's the best he can do, which is, again, like I said, looks fine. He's just still a very handsome gentleman, just with some scars.
He just wasn't quite convinced with his plastic surgeon.
But aside from that, the trailer looked amazing.
Yeah.
It plays into immediately of just him talking to the girl that he saves in the bar, of just why did you save me? Well, I had to. Yeah, but you seem to really enjoy that. You almost seemed relieved. Because that's the Punisher character, and that's how he ended on season 1 of just okay, well, where does he go from here?
Right.
So I'm
got some killing to do.
Yeah, I'm super on board. It's this weekend. There's a solid chance I might try to binge
the entire thing.
A lot of it, yeah. Because the 18th is Friday, so.
And then is it the 21st that we have off?
Yeah, and we have the 21st off.
Yeah, so we got a long weekend there with it too. So yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Your dumb government holidays.
Bank holidays are real.
Bank holidays are a real thing.
That means I can adjust that schedule and someone doesn't have to go to the bank that day. So I can cut a half hour off their entry time.
There you go.
You're welcome.
We have provided you a service this day.
Indeed.
I'm excited about Punisher season 2 though. Like I did see, I got kind of bummed out. This will be Deborah Ann Wall talked about how this is going to be her last appearance as Karen Page. Which I didn't even know she was going to be in that season, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
It's not surprising in the slightest. And like one bright side about like all of this ending soon, and I'm sorry if this spoils anything out there from comic book land anyway. We're not going to have to see Karen Page's death on screen.
Why would you say that before Punisher?
I mean, you don't know that yet.
Season 2 of Punisher.
You know what? I didn't
the man
think about
doesn't
that.
have good luck.
What is wrong with you?
So maybe we will have to see Deborah Ann Wall. I didn't even think about Punisher.
Nothing bad happens to the people he cares about. They're gonna be a lighthearted romp. She's totally safe.
Honestly, I thought she was going to be done at the end of season 3 of Daredevil.
Do you watch horror movies thinking like, oh well, if
Oh yeah, go split up. That's a great idea.
Well, if this couple's
I
gonna
am
go
always
off,
the one to propose splitting the party.
if this couple's gonna go off to have sex, they'll be fine.
No,
don't leave that black man by himself.
That's a horror movie trope. That's not
It
unheard.
is.
I know it's not.
No, it is.
But like my ribs really hurt, and it was funny. So like if you make me laugh, it's gonna look way worse because I'm gonna like crunch up.
I'm sorry.
There was a noise downstairs. Yes, one of us should go and check it out.
It's just one of those things. Like I didn't even think about the fact that they would, because I mean, you know who kills Karen Page in the comic books?
Which time?
Fair. The one that's most impactful to Matt Murdock.
Kingpin. Oh, Bullseye.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how she dies in the comic books. Mm-hmm. So I assume that was going to be a season 4 thing of Daredevil. But
now that she's not getting season 4, then she's safe.
Right. And actually, I thought that they were going to do that at the end of, because it was almost like the exact scene from the comic books. I was like, oh no, I know what's about to happen here, and I'm not ready.
Unhappy.
And then it didn't happen, and I was like, well, okay, someone else died instead. But yeah, no, I'm excited about this. Boy, I hope that I didn't just I didn't spoil anything. I added extra tension. Every second that Karen Page is going to be on the screen for that season.
Is she going to die? Is she going to die? Oh my God. I don't know. I need to know.
You are so lucky this is the Sunday show and I have more control than Dalton.
Asa, just go for it.
So much tension watching through Punisher.
So much tension 2. Right now.
Can confirm. Ooh. Do it.
Ooh.
Dang it.
No, I'm better than you.
All right, so the Disney-Fox merger looks like that's actually going to be completed by early March.
Woot!
Which significantly faster. That a lot of people didn't think that was going to be done until like late 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So significantly faster than everybody.
Like a couple weeks ago, Feige even said that assuming everything goes through cleanly, they can start developing Fox properties into the MCU in 6 months.
Yeah, which that's nutso turnaround. Which means we could be seeing like Fox stuff inside the MCU as early as late 2020.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Unlikely that it will get that quick, but it's not outside the realm.
Like I said, how much wiggle room they've left.
Well, and it's also the whole the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that I have of there is currently an Weapon J project.
Codename Weapon J.
Right, they happen to be working on now. A very specific look for an actor that they would like to cast.
Yeah, no, that's distinctly...
well, now that we have this, we could just go ahead and add those names to this thing that we were already going to do.
Yeah, because I was talking about that before. Like, it would not surprise me at all to learn that Marvel has... Kevin Feige has already greenlit and 6 other movies, including Fox properties, that are just codenamed something different. And they've got, all of this stuff ready to go. So we'll have Fox properties by mid 2020,
or just some big reveal at the post credits of Infinity War of Endgame. Yeah.
Definitely a possibility. Like it would. Well, I say a possibility. It would not surprise me that it happened. I doubt it will happen.
Oh, you weren't here for my the one that I did perfectly for them. It's at the end of Endgame. Everything's back to normal, but like the reality stone, something happened, so things are different now. So you just follow. It's a group tour who are doing a tour of New York. Like, oh, this is where this was the site of the first where Hulk slammed one of the Chitauri things through, blah, blah, blah. And if you look here across the street, finishing completion in 2019, we have the Baxter Building.
That would be dope. I would like that a whole lot. Yeah, that would be cool. And then you have Chris Evans walk out like a Fantastic Four outfit.
Oh, God. Just reboot it. Different Captain America, but have him be...
that would be hilarious.
But they do the DH thing.
No, actually just make him Mr. Fantastic. Now he gets to be 3 different characters in
No, that's not Jim Halpert. Because ever since I saw the fan art of John Krasinski in the Fantastic Four thing, I want that.
Yeah. No,
I want that real
I'm
bad.
fine with that idea. Or John Hamm as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, John Hamm just needs to be.
He could be whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He could be that beautiful son of a gun.
Good control on that, because I wouldn't have censored that one. It's about John Hamm. He deserves all the respect in the world.
My only thing is he's a little too funny for Mr. Fantastic.
He doesn't have to be like.
No, I know but I like him when he's having seen how funny he is. I like him being funny.
No, that's fair.
It actually like impacted my enjoyment of Mad Men, going back and trying to restart it.
Because
that is not a funny show.
Yeah,
and he plays it straight, which he does an amazing job at. But I am a selfish person, and I want my media to conform to my exact wants.
Because you like John Hamm as featured in
30 Rock.
30 Rock, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Tag?
No, I want to. Like it's one that if I come across it, I'll watch it. But
yeah, I absolutely.
I knew it wasn't going to be worth going to see in theaters. So
no, definitely not.
I'm just hoping it pops up on like Netflix or Hulu or something.
That would be nice. All right, so Final Destination. There's a movie I haven't heard in a long time. Going back to some horror we were talking about there a minute ago. It's going to be Reboot. There's a reboot in development with some of the later writers from Saw.
So I'm really not going to want to watch them.
Probably not. Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan are the two that are going to be working on this Final Destination reboot. And that was one of those movies I really, really liked the first 2 Final Destination movies.
Nope.
I think because of I think it was the second one. Was that the one with the logs?
Nope.
That was the... Yeah, I think that was the second one.
Don't do those.
Yeah.
I still get nervous on the interstate.
I'm amazed that I haven't become afraid of roller coasters.
That was the third one.
That was the third one. Like that. Ever since then, I now have a completely irrational anxiety anytime that I'm riding behind like one of these log.
Thank you, Broadway.
Try ones with steel beams.
Also terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, those are beams though, because those are flat. So like it's not
when you can see them bouncing.
Oh, well, that's a dynamic load. That's fine.
Anyway, Saw writers working on that, so it could be even more, and with special effects the way they are nowadays.
So it's just gonna look like a Mortal Kombat fatality. Good for them.
Finish him.
Those movies are dumb fun.
Yeah,
like just the idea that Death is pissed.
that people
somehow dodged him.
Somebody had a premonition.
So he's got to use Rube Goldberg machines to like bake people in tanning beds and.
Ooh, that was a messed up scene too.
Lasers go through their. Like for the LASIK surgery.
Yeah.
Oh no! Why did you tell me that wasn't one of them? I've been looking into getting one of those surgeries.
Or just the glass pane falling, and just person disappears entirely.
No.
Yep.
Like basically a several 100-pound glass pane that they're installing in the skyscraper falls, lands on like a woman and her child, I think, and just like they're standing up, and then there's nothing but the glass pane. And
well, that's efficient on Death's part. Good on you.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, and that's the way to go.
Yeah,
because it's like you don't feel a thing. There's no moment of fear.
No.
But yeah, when you're strapped to that chair and you see the knob turn on your LASIK surgery as the doctor leaves the room and just like laser cooking your brain.
Yeah, they had one of the guy that the engine, like he was in the drive-through and like there's a truck coming and wrecked, and the engine from the truck came through the grill and just destroyed this guy.
Like went through the windshield and crushed his head.
That was messed up.
I'm just gonna watch Spider-Verse again. Like, I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, no, the Final Destination movies are dumb fun because it's all completely like Asa said, Rube Goldberg machines is how death is.
Yes, and then you guys now have me having irrational fear over 3 things, and I haven't seen the movies. I'm always gonna wear glasses for the rest of my life now.
I'm just gonna run through the plot of like 6 of them.
Make you afraid of tanning beds.
Everything.
Make you afraid of. So anyway, yeah, we'll stop talking about blood, gore, and death.
They're fun movies. That I'm curious to see how this looks, because I enjoy those movies the most when they kind of lean into the camp.
Yeah,
a little bit.
That's probably the only way I could get through them, because I don't do well with like torture and dismemberment and.
Well, and even the last,
stuff.
Which I don't know if they did the last Saw or not, but it was not nearly as torture porny as like previous installments became. So yeah. I'm hoping they kind of lean away from that.
I still have never watched a Saw movie, and I refuse to.
Yeah, I liked the first Saw movie, and then I watched a few more.
I've seen clips, and it can just stay at that.
It's fair. That's really fair. But anyway, so that's happening. Marvel, going back there now, we're lighting it back up for a second. Is working on a Lady Sif series for Disney Plus.
Ooh.
So she could be getting her own series. I guess she survived Ragnarok because we never actually saw her there.
And apparently.
Well,
that's all going to be on
yeah. Because I think the last time we saw Sif, I want to say it was either her or maybe it was just another person that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because I remember one of the female Asgardians shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I feel like that was after Dark World. I don't know. I thought she was in Ragnarok.
I don't remember seeing her in Ragnarok at all.
I only saw it the one time, so I'm not. And it's been a while, so I am by no means an authority. But I thought like
checking right now for y'all.
When what's her name with the big head came in and just like wrecked everybody. I thought
Helena.
she was. Yeah, I thought she was in that fight.
I don't think she was. If she was, I just missed her as a minor background character that got murdered fast.
Well, I don't know if she necessarily got murdered, but
she was not in Thor, or she was not in Ragnarok. But if I'm looking at the order of like her filmography, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was more recent. Oh yeah, she was in 2014 to 2015. Dark World came out in 2013.
Okay.
So the last time we saw her was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and I know she survived that encounter, but we haven't. Like, as far as I know, we haven't seen or heard from her since. So it'd be interesting to see what she's doing. And then one thing I actually forgot to talk about in the pre-show that I added on there. Future Man Season 2 came out. I'm about halfway through that.
That's that Hulu one, right?
It's a Hulu exclusive that doesn't get near the hype it deserves. That show is so good, and I need more people to watch it. That's the reason I'm bringing this up. Because in Season 2 so far...
Well, if you can tell Hulu to stop putting on musicals that I like, because every time I go on there, I'm like, ooh, I could watch this, or I could watch Into the Woods again.
Huh.
I didn't know
I
people
feel like
watched
that's an exercise in willpower that you need, Lindsay.
I didn't know people watch things on Hulu other than King of the Hill.
Community's on there.
Well, my anime's on there also.
Community and American Dad are on there too. So
plus,
and Bob's Burgers.
Family King of the Hill hasn't always been on Hulu. That's a recent development.
Yeah, I know, and that's why people should just be like, you watch it 6 times through to make up for all of the time that it wasn't available, so you couldn't watch it.
That's fair.
That's what I'm doing.
I watched through it once all the way through, and I'll probably do it again after I'm done with Scrubs, because that's my current rewatch.
Oh, but Scrubs is so easy because you can jump off like 2 seasons early.
True. I like the final season before the spinoff.
Oh, before Sacred Heart.
Yeah,
that's what I call it because I know it's called Scrubs, but
cause it's called like Scrubs Interns or something like that.
Oh yeah, they eventually did change the name after the fact, I think.
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that season, but the season before that is I actually enjoyed quite a bit. But anyway, beside the point, Future Man is phenomenal. And I need more people to watch that show. It is super goofy. It is mature. You will see penises and whatnot. But it's fantastic. It's hilarious. And it's got some decent action scenes in it. Also, from Scrubs there, has Oh God,
Can never remember her name.
Was she the Gooch?
No, she was in the last season only.
Yeah, she was in the last season, and she was in Interns,
and she was in Happy Endings.
This is gonna drive me crazy. Why can't
I think she's married to Damon Wayans' son or coach from
Eliza Coupe?
Eliza Coupe. That's it.
I started typing in. I was like, nope, there it is. All right, yeah, Eliza Coupe. Yeah, I like her a whole lot. She's starring in it, and the guy, I think it's Josh Hutcherson is his name. He was the guy that played PETA in The Hunger Games.
That's right.
Yeah, no, like it's great. He plays the lead role, and then Eliza Coupe is also one of the lead roles, and I don't remember the guy's name that plays the other guy because there are 3 leads. Regardless, it's a phenomenal show. It's hilarious, and more people should watch it. This next portion of our podcast brought to you by our wonderful friends at Villainous Grounds in Perryville, Missouri. Check them out for all your comic book needs. Marvel has announced the 80th anniversary event. It's going to last all through 2019. It's going to bring back some classic teams, bring back some classic characters. They're also going to have a whole bunch of themed variant covers, including, I think, throughout this month and next month.
They want your money.
Oh, they're going to get it.
There's going to be 9 different comics that are going to be released that will form a connecting cover from different properties.
Oh, that's a D-bag move right there, sir.
That just means I don't have to buy any of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
At least whenever Boom did that with NXT, like, you had to get all the books anyway.
And most of the time, like, that's what the connecting covers are. They're all from one event or one arc or something like that. But yeah,
but
no, they're
I feel
just
like then you need a big old frame to be able to put it up. Whereas like if it's a graphic novel and they're just making the spines make a picture.
Which those are also, I like those a lot. But yeah, no, these are all 9 issues connecting covers. I don't know what they are yet or the image that they produce. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a thing they're doing. And then in fall, they're releasing the Marvelous Millennial Milestone issue. It's going to be extra sized and extra with all sorts of extra. They used extra like 4 times in the description.
They couldn't think of another adjective.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Do we need to buy Marvel a thesaurus?
No, that's how we got the name Marvel's Millennial Megatron
Milestone.
I like his better.
The millennial part does not make any sense to me at all. Maybe somebody can explain that to me.
Yeah, because it's not like an even year.
Yeah, this is the 80th anniversary. It's inside the new millennium is the only thing that I can guess.
But it's at a weird note. It's 19 years into it, so that's.
Yeah,
I don't
like it.
So their 70th should have been.
Their
09.
Because if their 70th was 2009, then that could have been their millennial milestone. Because it's the first 10-year inside the new millennium.
That's pretty ballsy just to completely skip out they're going straight to the 1,000.
Yeah, I don't get it, but yeah, it's the millennial milestone, and apparently it is going to change the course of Marvel history forever.
What doesn't?
Right? Seems like everything changes Marvel's. Yeah, like comic books in general.
The big secret, they're going digital.
They already did that.
No, completely.
Oh God.
No, they would never do that.
They would lose so much money.
I
know. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. There's not official release date yet for that milestone, but
okay. So I could be sure. I googled what the definition of millennial is, and this is the only way that I can remotely justify it, and even that, it's a stretch. A person reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century. So if this is them saying that they're reaching adulthood, like as a company or franchise,
all of their younger characters are going to turn 20.
Yeah, it took them 80 years.
I was supposed to say it took them 80 years to enter young adulthood.
In fairness, Peter Parker, it's been 80 years and Peter Parker has aged, I think, 10. So, I mean, that's not really out of the question. That's the only way I can defend it. If you look at it by that very loose definition.
Pete has a good 15 years of aging in the last 70 or whatever, or 60 years I think for Spider-Man. Because Amazing Fantasy 15 was in the 50s or something, like the 50s or 60s.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's
I don't know why they would go for
1962. But But anyway, So in the last 60 years, Peter, he started as a 15, 16-year-old kid, and now he's in his late 20s. Mm-hmm. Possibly early 30s.
That's some good aging.
Yeah, he's aging fantastically.
He's killing it.
A lot of misery in the just jam packed into that
brief window of time. It's kind of like whenever the DC rebooted Batman, and they said that his entire history happened, but over the course of 2 years.
What?
It was 8. I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think New 52. Everything had happened in within an 8-year span.
I didn't think it was that long. I thought it was at most 4.
No, it was longer because people were because a lot of it was that's why Tim Drake got cut, or was just never mentioned as a Robin, and why Dick Grayson went from.
Yeah, well, Tim Drake was inconsistent. Because he was in the Teen Titans in New 52, but he wasn't.
But he skipped the Robin stage. He was always just Red Robin.
Right, he was Red Robin in Teen Titans, but he mentioned specifically in Teen Titans that he had worked for Batman, and he is completely ignored from the family in New 50, in Batman's New 52.
In every New 52 other book.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird continuity thing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite that short, but it definitely was a ridiculous amount of time for everything to have been squeezed into.
Yeah.
Because Damian was 12 years old.
Yeah, Damian was apparently
that math just never added up.
Nope, because that would have meant that somehow Damian happened before Batman happened.
The only way I can make that work is that he was in a clone they advanced years on. Because they very much they made it to where Talia was just making clones of Damian.
Damian's not a clone.
They never explained it, but I'm saying you can make that mind jump because there was 1,000 Damians. Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, Batman Incorporated was really weird in that New 52 run.
Mm-hmm.
It was not worth reading.
I mean, issue 8 was really good.
Wasn't that the one where Damian died?
Asa had to deal with me every day being I still can't find that damn book.
I dropped it 2 issues before.
Yeah, because you ended up buying the variant.
Because that was the one that I found.
Yeah, but that was the one where Damian dies, right?
Yeah.
Issue 8, I'm assuming. I had stopped reading it 3 issues in. I was like, this is dumb.
It was okay, but yeah, it was one of those things where it's just I had to have a culling.
Yeah, no, that's fair, because comic books, especially in New 52, I was buying so many books. It was ridiculous. I was going broke buying New 52 books. All right, well, anyway, this next portion of our podcast brought to you by our friends Josh and Alan of Press Start to Join. You can find all of their content, including their social media links at ps2jshow.com.
And they're back. They're doing episodes again. I hate when they take off for December. They're one of the ones in my weekly rotation.
And then the last Wednesday of every month, they do History of Gaming. They've still got that entire backlog. It's pretty significant at this point. And all those episodes are definitely worth listening to. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, Bungie has split with Activision. They're going to retain the rights for Destiny, but going forward, they're publishing it themselves. Activision's not going to have any part of it. Which, that could be fantastic news for Bungie.
One of the, Jason Schreier wrote kind of extensively over this whole thing. He talks about how when the announcement was finally made, Bungie employees cheered to be out from underneath their thumb. But they also cheered when they were out from underneath Microsoft. So they very much, this isn't everything you don't like about Destiny and Bungie is because of parent company's fault. A lot of these decisions were made by Bungie.
Right.
So this isn't just everything's gonna be amazing forever now. But it is going to make a marked difference, and this is a very, very big deal. It's just a franchise that maybe Activision is the reason that I don't support Bungie anymore.
Because apparently, Activision is responsible for the
story for the first Destiny game being gutted.
Yes, because they completely demolished the story they wrote and wouldn't let them move up the release date. Mm-hmm. So, or move back the release date. They didn't want to push it anymore. So that was, they're responsible for the terrible story in the first Destiny game, or I I say terrible, the lackluster, almost non-existent story.
The fact that the story was through the cards or whatever that you got, that you had to then read everything through.
Yep, and even that was different. Like that was different than what they originally wanted to do. Yeah, that was definitely Activision. There's speculation that like the way the microtransactions work and the season pass nonsense was all Activision because they wouldn't let Bungie just release the content annually like they wanted to. And even then, like the part that bothers me the most about like Destiny's release and the reason I'm not playing the game anymore, the first Destiny came out. I loved it because I loved playing it with my friends. I put hundreds of hours into that game.
I still have the picture on my phone of our fire team being in the 0.6% of players who had completed a raid as a full fire team.
Yeah, as a clan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that was awesome. Like, you know, we had a ton of fun doing that. And, yeah, it was a great time. And then, you know, they did the DLC released, and, like, turns out that was they're going to put content of the game behind a paywall, so you
content
can't
that I had already bought, I could no longer access.
Right. So
because I didn't buy I was the only one in our group that didn't have the season pass. We all jumped in. We're like, all right, let's do the weekly Nightfall, which is the only way to get this certain currency.
Yep.
Oh, I can't because the Nightfall is one of the maps that they put out.
Yep.
For DLC.
And then they said they were just going to do that like every once in a while.
It was going to be on a rotation. It was going to be every once in a while. The second week, the exact same map was the Nightfall challenge.
Because
and
apparently
after that, I did not play Destiny again until I bought the complete edition for like $5.
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, no, it was super shady, and yeah,
so a lot of people were upset at that, and Bungie saw those complaints, and they were like, okay, we're doing Destiny 2.
Well, even before that, they did Taken 2, or they did the first expansion for Destiny. Was amazing. The Taken King fixed every problem, got rid of the BS currency that Ace is talking about. Like it was just gonzo. It was no longer necessary. There was actual like a really interesting story behind it with like an extra 10 hours worth of, at least 10 hours worth of just story, and way more than that worth of just things to do, plus a new raid, and it was actually cool. I really, really liked Taken King. And then they did Rise of Iron, added an equal amount of content. It was really cool. And then that's when Asa jumped in. He got, super cheap deal, got the whole like complete collection and everything. And that was fine. And Destiny was like, we have learned from this.
This is the type of game that you want. Now we're going to make Destiny 2. We have all of our lessons made.
And then Destiny 2, they did exactly the same thing they did with the original release of Destiny. Minus the currency nonsense, and I don't know if they put like content behind a paywall, but they did. If
you didn't, I distinctly remember hearing when on like Kind of Funny on Games Daily when that first launched, people were complaining that they didn't buy the expansion, so now they were locked out of content they previously had access to.
Yeah, which is dumb.
I don't know if it's to the same extent. I don't know to what extent, but
they were locked out of it. Yeah, because Because in the first Destiny game, you were locked out of so much stuff from like if you didn't buy that pass, and that was the real problem. Like it looked like they weren't going to do the season pass. Like you weren't going to get like 2 extra releases. It was just going to be an annual release every year. You got like a new pack, and that was fine. Like I'm okay with that. I did it with World of Warcraft, except admittedly less frequent releases. But yeah, like every year I pay $40 for another chunk of game, and then at 3 years I buy a new $60 game with new stuff. I was reasonably all right with that, but then they're like, season pass again. What? And apparently right now the game is the best it has ever been. But
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, but to say that sounds like it
better
should
be like.
Yeah,
because they just repeated the exact same development cycle of 1, 2, and 3. Or just of 1. It's just like, all right, put out a game that people are that have a lot of complaints about. Okay, and then some lackluster DLC. More complaints. Okay, no, this is the real version of the game. Now, granted, if day 1 you want to play the real version of the game, you had to have the $60 game, the 2 $30 expansion pack, and then the $60 extra expansion.
Bull.
$40.
Sorry. So it's only $160 total spent.
In terms of Taken King, but
no, that was Destiny 2.
It was Forsaken.
for Destiny 2 for Forsaken to be able to get access to everything. Like now, yes, it's much cheaper. You can go to GameStop and spend like what was it like $60 for everything?
I mean, it's straight up like $30 gets you everything on PC. I know.
Okay. So, but if you were keeping up with it at the time, like at release, everything was coming out. You had to have paid for everything.
Yeah. Well, they did have the $60 bundle. Mm-hmm. Like if you didn't buy the 2 DLC packs, or even like the first day, like they did the same thing what they did with Destiny 1. For $60, you get the new expansion plus the previous 2 packs in the base game. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they did the same stuff with Destiny 1, which was dumb, but whatever. If you were playing from day one and you kept up, then yeah, you bought the $60 game, the $30 season pass, and then the $40 expansion pack. Mm-hmm. Or I think it was actually $30 for the Destiny 2 Forsaken or whichever it was called. Yeah, because I think it was $30 this time around.
Yeah, because I remember whenever it first came out, like adding everything up, and it was like $160 total to get everything.
Yeah, it's silly. But either way, hopefully, like those decisions turn out to actually have been Activision's, and then Destiny releases from now on will be good. Like you can, jump back into the series with faith that it'll be fine. I'm not going to because Anthem is coming out next month.
Yeah, no, I fully expect that to just scratch my itch.
Yep.
And I know we just talked about like predatory BS microtransactions and selling chunks of game practices. This game's being published by EA.
I was about to ask if it was EA.
Yeah, so it's an EA game, but to EA's credit, a lot of their stuff has been they have that's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah,
they've lately been doing more good than bad.
Because they hit us with Titanfall 2, and that was amazing. The game released, you could not spend money on extra content for the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was all cosmetic.
Yep. Everything that came out after the game released was completely free. Like you had the game, you got the content, you got the new mechs, you got the new maps, you got the new everything. Then Star Wars hit.
Not so well.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then set the entire industry back.
Yeah, that was the 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
Ouch.
Yeah, because they fixed it though. Like Battlefront 2 as it stands right now is very good.
Yeah, like Hunter and Shannon still play it. Well, they
at the very least Hunter still plays it.
Yeah, they played it for a good long time.
Because when the game came out, it was fun. Like, and that was never its problem.
No, yeah, it was just the terrible grind, and like the upgrade card system was broken.
Yeah,
matchmaking from that was broken. The unlocking heroes was terrible.
Fixed that, and as it stands right now, all around great game. Mm-hmm. Like Battlefront 2 is really really fun, and I recommend it if you're a Star Wars fan.
Upgrade system still broken.
Yeah, I mean
they didn't fix that. It's all XP.
Well, I thought they. Never mind. I think that it's mostly fine. But either way, it's still really really fun, and the card system is significantly less bad. Mm-hmm. So
it's not though. Like you can't buy it with money, but that's the only benefit to it now.
I thought that was changed too. Like it wasn't changed when that first big update hit, but then like a month later they changed that too.
The last time I tried to play it,
which was after the big release.
Yeah. Last time I tried to play it, it was still like I still only had like level 1 and 2 cards on everything that I'd already unlocked. Mm-hmm. And so you still are stuck having to upgrade all of those cards to like get the abilities and stuff. But now it's just done by experience earned in matches.
Right.
So you're still going up against people with empirically better equipment.
It doesn't matter. Like I don't remember enough about the game to actually talk about it because I don't remember exactly how that upgrade system worked. But my understanding was they did fix it.
It was loot boxes.
Yeah, I remember you
get the loot boxes that then give you random abilities.
Right.
And then when you level up your characters, you can also then use those experience points into those abilities to like level them up or unlock new ones. But until you unlock those, either through loot boxes or just dumping all of your experience points in there, you didn't have access to them. So you would have a grenade that would have a 0.5 whatever blast radius, but you could be matched up against someone who has a grenade with a 5 blast radius.
Because I thought I remembered. It does. Like I'm not going to look it up because I'm 99% sure that got fixed. Like, it wasn't at the same time they fixed the other stuff.
Like I said, it hasn't been a short amount of time, but it was after they supposedly upgraded it. Like, everything got switched over.
Yeah, because it was like they had the one huge update, and then 2 months later, they had another update fixing the rest of that stuff.
And it's possible I missed that, but like I said, the last time that I played, it was still very much...
Because remember, we played it quite a bit like after that first big update, and it was really, really fun, and I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, I haven't played it since then. So yeah, I'm not, like I said, it's not that big of a deal to look up. Regardless, EA definitely has a history and it could be bad, but
everything that they've said makes it sound like it's going to be
more Titanfall 2 than Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what we get. And at least BioWare has more clout than
Respawn.
Yeah, really either of those companies, Respawn or I don't remember who. Like, there were 3 different companies that worked on Battlefront.
DICE?
DICE worked on one part of it. Then there
because it was separate developers that worked on the single player and the multiplayer.
Right, and I know DICE worked on one part of it. The guys worked on another part of it. And it wasn't like the main DICE team. Like, it was like an offshoot of DICE that worked on like the multiplayer.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember. Not important. Bungie, though, going back, Destiny... This could be cool. Like, upcoming stuff could be different, and it could be fun, and it might be worth getting back into, assuming I don't get really, really into Anthem. Because I did have a lot of fun with Destiny 2 on PC. A lot of fun. It was super pretty. Resident Evil 2. One-shot demo released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
I saw a tweet, and I can't even begin to try to find it again because I don't remember who did it, but they said, like, X number of people, like a surprisingly large amount of people downloaded it, but only 27% of them, like something low like that, actually completed it.
Yeah, because
it's not just a one shot. It is
literally a one shot. It's 30 minutes.
Well, that's what
you do not get to play it anymore after.
See, but it's the timer. It's not because say if it's 15 minutes long, you can play it twice.
Right.
Because it's not a one shot, and once you beat it, it's done. It's a one shot, and then you get 30 minutes of gameplay, and then it's over.
Right.
So if you pause it, walk away for 20 minutes, come back and play for 10, oops.
Yeah.
You're done.
I thought it was just gameplay. So like if you get out of the game.
Oh, I'm talking pause. Like you're not like exited to the home screen. Just you're still in the game. Or if you just put the controller down.
Yeah, you guys should exit the game if you're going to do that.
Yeah. Because you get 30 minutes and that is it.
Yeah, straight up. Just 30 minutes. Apparently it is really, really fun though. Like super gory.
One of the videos that I saw on Twitter was super awesome. They had a shotgun and they shot a zombie in the stomach. The zombie then fell forward. The top half separated from the bottom half. So it's just a zombie laying on the floor in 2 pieces, but then it like picks its head up and starts crawling just the top half at the player.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts.
It looks creepy. It looks really, really cool. And yeah, I think I had seen that thing earlier with something like 2 million players. It's been downloaded 2 million times and completed like a significant
20. It was like 20-something percent.
Yeah, 20-something percent had completed it. Which because you only get 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But you can do it on all 3 platforms if you have all 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything looks really, really pretty and looks really, really fun. So good news for people excited about Resident Evil 2, Hunter.
Yep.
All right, so now something Dalton can talk about for a second here. The epilogue of Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be added via a patch as well as a few other things after the game releases.
So did you guys know the full story behind that?
Because it comes out, well, you could fill in the blanks after of what I've missed here. Because the game comes out on the 29th. Mm-hmm. On the 30th is when you're getting all of the extra, like the epilogue, which will, I think the quote was, give you a greater understanding and love of the Kingdom Hearts 3 story.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. You dropped this red flag.
Yeah, because from the sounds of it, like they have a very unsatisfying ending, and the epilogue is pretty necessary. So hopefully you have access to a high-speed internet connection so that you can download the epilogue on day 1. Because it's not going to cost you anything. You just have to be able to download it. All right, Dalton, go ahead. That's pretty much what I got for it.
Yeah, no, it was about a month ago. Some guy that works at a distribution center stole 30 copies of the game. never played it before, like never, like doesn't, like he knows what Kingdom Hearts is, but like just stole 30 copies of it, and then was trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace for $100.
I remember the video, like the pictures going around of them being
so like
installing on an Xbox and stuff.
Yeah, so that's what that was about. Nomura, the guy that like wrote Kingdom Hearts, said like the most important parts of the story are not on disc. Which, after like that whole 30 copies got out, selling them for $100 a piece, it made me appreciate Black Ops 3 so much more. Because Black Ops, it was like barely anything on disc.
You mean Black Ops 4?
Did I say Black Ops 3?
Yeah.
I meant Black Ops 4, where like there was nothing on disc and everything was like you had to download from the internet. Made me appreciate that so much more. Because if I got if you can't get that patch until day one, and you have to wait for that download, at least then I don't have to worry about people spoiling it for me. That's what I've been afraid of on the internet for a month now. Still doesn't come out for 16 more days. I'm expecting something to get spoiled for me.
My thing is the fact that it's not a day and date. It's not a day one patch is what makes me think that are they still working on this? Like,
I'm assuming since it's the epilogue, it's literally just a video ending.
It is a video.
Yeah,
confirmed
because like that's how every Kingdom Hearts game ends for the most part. Where like you beat the final boss. You got 20 minutes of video to watch.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another video that they're releasing with a secret unlock.
Because that is also a very Kingdom Hearts thing to do.
And that's also in that patch on the day after, the 30th.
It's also super important to note that they have said that there's 80 hours of gameplay. Now, in the pre-show, if you pay $1 for Patreon, Asa said that's 100%ing the game, which I'm assuming is correct. But I don't think I have beaten a Kingdom Hearts game full story in under 24 hours.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure there's like 30 hours of like main story.
Yeah.
It's just that like when you say it's 80 hours to beat the game, there's a very clear distinction of there's 80 hours to beat the game and 80 hours to complete the game.
Let's also be fair, Dalton's really bad at that combat system.
No, I'm not.
And I've watched
Every time you talk about it, you talk about how bad you are at it.
because I've watched you fail at the same boss.
Because I try to rush through it in under 24 hours. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to grind and level up so I can actually kill something.
So I'd like to talk to somebody that's actually good at the game.
And Mandy's not here.
To see like how long it takes them to beat it.
I mean, it's a JRPG, so it's a huge game.
Yeah, it's beside the point entirely. Like the real bummer is for people that don't have immediate X connection. Mm-hmm. Granted, those people probably don't have Xbox, or most of them don't have an Xbox One anyway, or a PlayStation 4, because day one patches have been a thing since the last generation. Which not necessarily a great thing, but really the problem is how crappy internet is in the United States of America.
Yep.
That's the issue here. Anyway, it's weird that, like Asa said, it's a little bit of a red flag that an epilogue is being released again the day after. It's scheduled not as a day one patch, but as a day two patch.
I feel like that is just a safeguard for the whole copies getting out. Like, why? I feel like that would be a day one patch, but they're like, wait a minute, people are already getting hold of this game, but let's hold off 24 hours.
But it's not just the epilogue. There's other stuff in it too. Like, you even said,
it might be a different patch. There might be a day one patch that's already going to add a bunch of stuff to the game, and that actually could help with server congestion. Like, I could see that being the problem, because there's probably already a day one patch, the one you were mentioning, for the people that got the game really early. So there's a day one patch putting in all that. It actually does have gameplay and important stuff in it. And then there's a day two patch that's the epilogue and the extra story. And they're doing it that way so that you don't have everybody on day one having to download, a big update for the game.
That's how big it is.
There's the update.
The day two patch?
And then there's the day two patch.
No, like the game install, like they already announced it's like 32 gigs.
That's significantly smaller than it should be.
Well, I mean,
they might actually have stuff on disc.
Yeah, like that, and also like the worlds in Kingdom Hearts aren't that like
big.
Like gameplay wise, they're pretty contained.
Either way, that would be my guess, is to avoid server congestion. That's why they're having it on the second day, and they have like a big day one patch.
Yeah, and it's not there.
Which, if it's just a cinematic though, I can't imagine how big it would be.
Nah, not super big, but it's the whole thing of like, I also feel like that's an answer to the leak that happened.
Yeah. Either way. Let's see. So now this is this next little part I want to talk about. Find the biggest grain of salt you can find, because this is a data mine leak. Somebody apparently data mined a Nintendo update for the Switch, and they got a little bit of information from it. It looks like it's distinctly possible that Super Nintendo games are coming to the Nintendo Switch online service. And they found that by finding emulation names. We know from the names of the emulation software from the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, the minis. Mm-hmm. Those two names appeared in the data mine, as well as two more names next to it for different emulation. So the going theory right now is that they're adding an update for Super Nintendo games emulated on the Switch, and they're also adding, or they have created at least, emulation for the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube. And those two platforms could be coming to either classics, or they're going to start supporting that emulation on the Switch.
Cool either way.
Yeah.
¿Por qué no los
I know
dos?
Shannon's vote is for the minis because he likes his little collection sitting under the TV.
And those minis are cool looking.
I want both.
Especially as hackable as they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine what that's going to do to, like, if they release a GameCube Classic Mini, what that's going to do for, like, the Smash Brothers scene if it's actually,
God.
Good?
Ultimate sales go to zero.
Because everyone just be melee.
Right, like jump back into Melee. Because if you can get a GameCube that, like, has a brand new GameCube controller in it that actually works, that's also super hackable and only cost $100. Gonna have Melee on it?
You were talking about like the mini. I thought you were saying like the GameCube itself is super hackable, and I was like, wait, what? What did I miss?
I mean, it is, but there's not much you can do with it.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of internet on that GameCube, is there?
There
They
is.
have the adapter.
Yeah. There's a network adapter.
Yeah, no, whenever
Just like the Switch. I made myself mad.
At least you can do internet on the Switch without the adapter, unlike the GameCube.
Yeah.
Regardless, that could be really, really neat. And yeah, that would be neat for the Melee scene. It would be way easier for people to jump in, because at this point, if you want to buy a copy of Melee from pretty much anywhere, you're spending at least $60 for a copy of Melee. And, you know, on top of that, you got to find a GameCube, and I mean, which granted aren't as hard to find, but finding a GameCube with a legitimate GameCube controller
That's another story.
Yeah, because at least right now, GameCube controllers are cheap because Nintendo's re-released their brand new ones for Ultimate. But there for even a minute after they stopped producing the Wii U ones, the one for that Smash Brothers, an official like OEM GameCube controller was going online, just like one of the regular black ones, $50. And you couldn't find a GameCube that had an actual GameCube controller in it. They were all like the Hyperkin Yobo, Mad Cats, etc. controllers being bundled with systems.
Yeah.
Because those controllers are just extremely valuable. They don't have much longevity in the pro scene, and there's also not every controller is perfect for elite level play, which is another thing that's just
people get way too into Melee.
Yeah. Those guys will, like, if they break a controller or their controller doesn't work anymore, they can go through up to 20 more trying to find one that actually has what they need it to have, because there's just some minor inconsistencies in GameCube controllers. And apparently all of the newer ones are just garbage for, like, elite level Melee play.
I hate people.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah, like...
pro Melee players get real into it.
Yeah.
But granted, like, those guys are also doing that for their paycheck, which just, yeah.
Yeah, no, see, and that doesn't make me feel any worse for them. Like, good, they found a skill and are able to make money on it. Grand.
No, I mean, I don't like. It's not that I feel bad for them. Like,
yeah,
it's
like,
just, it's weird that there's that many like inconsistencies in games.
This doesn't make me wave dash fast.
Oh, it has nothing to do with wave dashing.
I don't care. Okay.
All right. Before we get into more talk about Melee Pro Scene, Bravely Default devs have tweeted out they're back at work on something.
Oh, goody.
That's all we got. They're back at work.
I want to go back at, like, I do want, because Stephanie loved those games so much.
Loves.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, this is because the story happens in the past tense.
Fair enough.
Like, she was so into those games that, and the way she talked about them and the battle system.
It was infectious.
Because I am not a JRPG person, even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out like, oh, I played that Octopath Traveler demo. I was like, ooh, that's a game I kind of want to get. I didn't because I knew I wasn't going to have the time to actually dedicate to it. But she talked me into getting a copy of Bravely Default because of just the levels of praise for that game. Because I remember finding it up in Perryville. So I bought it there for cheap because I was like, this is the game Stephanie keeps talking about, and they got it here for pretty cheap, so I'll pick it up. I didn't put more than 2 hours into it, but I dug it a lot. So
it's super fun, and like the Brave and Default system make the grind way more
manageable,
palatable.
Yeah. So I'm all for cool games getting made.
Agreed. So yeah, we'll see what we get on information on that. And the last thing I want to talk about just real fast, because Asa would be upset if I did. Mortal Kombat cover and character art revealed.
We going long.
As well as the pre-order bonus.
Yeah, the cover art got revealed. It is a direction I was not expecting. It looks like it's all yellow. It's Scorpion on the cover. That's not surprising even a little bit.
Nope.
Yeah.
But just that all yellow is an interesting look.
Yep.
Makes me think that there's probably going to be like, that's the base edition, and then the deluxe edition, and then the ultimate edition, and they might all have different covers, like a blue
yellow,
one,
red, black.
a blue one with Scorpion, and a red one with like Liu Kang, or blue, or maybe even Ermac. I don't know. It wouldn't be Ermac though. You need to have maybe Johnny Cage or Sonya Blade.
But I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of possibilities they could go with it. And then also we got the announcement that they revealed the pre-order bonus because it got leaked. But they just leaned into it and confirmed it that Shao Kahn is going to be the pre-order bonus for I almost said Wrestle Kingdom 11, Mortal Kombat 11.
Because NetherRealm is still on their shenanigans with that. Like you have to pre-order the game to get the character, or you have to pay $5 for the character.
It's the bonus character. So get it free for pre-ordering it, or pay $5 after the fact, or just wait, wait a year and get the Ultimate Edition.
You could do that too. But yeah, if you want the game day one with every character,
gotta be patient.
You either have to pre-order it, which, as you know, my stance on pre-ordering, or pay $5 extra.
Oh, I'm gonna pre-order this one so bad. Because NetherRealm is a studio that I very much trust and have no issue pre-ordering for them.
As much money or as much time as I sank into Injustice 2, I have no issue pre-ordering this.
I have every game that they've put out since the Mortal Kombat reboot back on the PS3, Xbox 360 generation. They've hit it out of the park for me.
I was going to ask a question about because Mortal Kombat X, did that have multiple covers? I'm not counting XL. No. It was just like the Sub-Zero one.
XL had different covers, but yeah, Mortal Kombat X was just the one basic cover.
Okay, cool.
So, and like I said, that's just a possibility. They may do a same thing where it's just you get the basic edition and then the ultimate edition, but it doesn't have a different cover. They have said that we are going to get story teasers, we are going to get some character reveals, and we are going to get there's like one other thing, because they're doing their big live reveal this Thursday, and I am here for it.
Fair enough. So we'll have for now. You got to see Scorpion in the new game. He looks a bit different,
and that's something that they always tweak their characters.
Yeah. It's an interesting direction to take Scorpion. So they're probably going to move away from the class, or they're definitely moving away from the classic style.
Well, and the rumor is that they are going to kind of lean into the gear system from Injustice. So instead of having like the different fighting styles from Mortal Kombat X, it's going to be gear based again. Which, like I said on the pre-show, like as long as they get rid of the whole like the abilities locked behind RNG, I'm totally fine with it, because the gear system in itself was harmless. It was kind of a cool way to, change the look of your character. It wasn't something I got super into, and it was weird that like there wasn't a like the competitive mode. There wasn't a competitive mode with gear allotted. So if you enjoyed playing as Nightwing and you loved playing them with that Staff of Grayson, you couldn't do it online and in a competitive setting. Yeah. So I'm sure that they've adjusted that.
Boy, I hope so, because that's kind of lame. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, my friends, for joining me on this show here, and we'll see you next time.